name is MilesMaeda, and I've been living here in Tokyo for a little over a year. I've been practicing yoga since 1993, and I'm very excited to be sharing all the things that I've learned with the people here in Japan.
Practice.
I've learned quite a few yoga practices. Our yoga school, the school I belong to, is a Sufi school, and Sufis see all the truth in all traditions. So they see all spiritual traditions and religions really as the same, like as one. So my teacher has explored and discovered many different kinds of practices, and our school really teaches a history, like an evolution of yoga on this planet since from about 18,000 years ago. So I've learned and teach styles that go way far back to this shamanic tradition called Yeongjong-bun, and it precedes Tibetan Buddhism. I also know some Tibetan yoga, Taoist yoga, Kundalini yoga, and Hatha yoga, many styles of Hatha yoga. And those are the more recent yoga styles. So I know officially five styles.
Can I practice yoga?
The first time I actually had some kind of regular practice was in 1993. But I officially started studying in 95. And then I started to teach very soon after that. Here in Tokyo, I teach at Under the Light, UTL, and I also teach at Sun and Moon. Not right now, but I am beginning to, well, I'm expanding to doing workshops in other cities and doing retreats also outside of the city. I'll be doing a workshop in Ibaraki in October. It's the numerology workshop. I've met many inspiring people, for sure, and everyone has their part in shaping who I am. And the one person who really made the biggest impact was my yoga teacher, because he was a little atypical of what I thought a yoga teacher would be. And he just helped me really look at the bigger picture of my whole life and what I wanted to be doing and how to do it. And he really showed me how I can be using my practice to change my life, to make a difference. And I noticed it worked. It really did make a difference. So where I was struggling before, I noticed things were changing, things were evolving, and I was growing. And when I look back, I can say I've grown, but in the most full way, the most whole way, I experienced the greatest growth through my teacher. Oh, his name is Isa Aragon.
Isa Aragon.
Yeah.
For teacher's training?
Yes. My experience is teaching Hatha yoga and Kundalini yoga. And right now I'm in the process with our master teacher in developing a Tao yoga training.
Easy.
Yes. But I love what I do, and I do what I love. I feel a good yoga teacher is someone who is an example of what they teach. So they can embody what they're sharing with others. If a person can do that, they're going to be able to really touch others and be able to share something real. I think that's what a great teacher is. Yeah. The most simple advice is to teach what you know. And it'll always allow a student to feel, a teacher, to feel, a new teacher, to feel more confidence and feel more secure, because really there's no need for you to teach anything you don't know. There could be expectations, but a real teacher shares who they are, shares their experiences, so they share what they know. And even if a student took 3 yoga classes and they were sharing with another person what they've learned, they know more than that person. So there's always something valuable in sharing, even if it's new. But I feel like if a student can just know that what they know will be enlightening to someone, that they should share it. And it relates to being an example. So really, just what you've experienced, what you know, share that all the time. I've participated in creating training manuals, but I am embarking on doing something for iPhones and iPads. I don't think it's a secret, but I'd rather talk about it when it's done. Well, what I can say is there's something called the 9 secrets of life. In the biggest picture, like in the goal of yoga, all the same, all one. And when you start to label it and name it and identify it and categorize it, it gets further and further away from that original nature, yes? When it relates to things like your age, or relating to your relationship to food, or family affairs, or maybe medication you take, your health, or your sex life, or things like that. Those are part of the 9 secrets. And what's interesting is sometimes you can do a little practice and not talk about those things and see how it changes the way you relate to other people. And when I started doing this practice, I honestly could relate to older people and felt like we were common friends, like same level. And then with younger people, same thing. So that's a really interesting thing, I think, for people to know. But I love birthdays. I love celebrating birthdays. In ways very ancient, I feel very old, and then in other ways I feel like I'm just new experiencing this world, like a newborn baby.
Wow.
I have, it seems for a long time, wanted to travel and meet new people and have different experiences. Like, I lived in Hawaii until I was 18, and then went to the Midwest, which is like from the middle of the Pacific Ocean to the middle of the continent, or North America. And that was huge. I think maybe I was the one student in my high school that moved the furthest away from home. And then I left everything. I left all my friends, I left my work, I dropped everything. And then I went and lived in San Diego, which is when I started my yoga training. So I was ready to give everything up and just be a monk in the mountains. So 2 years I lived there. And that's really different from living in a metropolis like Chicago, which is where I was before I left. And then I started to travel an insane amount as I was developing with yoga, and I started to do music again. So I visited Japan and I thought, this is so amazing. It's part of my heritage. I didn't think at the time I wanted to go back to my roots, but it was amazing, like visiting here, and I felt like this was a place I could live. I felt really welcomed, and it really did feel like a home, another kind of home. And this part of me was waking up. This part that was hearing a new language and having to read different characters instead of just Roman alphabet. It was waking up this part of myself that was asleep. So still being here, being able to share music and share yoga is wonderful, but I'm also learning a lot too. I could do more learning. I could do lots more learning, but I'm excited that I'm here to do that.